Good afternoon, student. Our next topic is ARP. ARP, that is Address Resolution Protocol. So we discussed ICMP first. We already discussed ICMP in is layer 3 protocol. So next is ARP, that is basically for ARP layer 2 protocol. So in this you will understand how the MAC address is resolved and what is the function of ARP cache. Function of ARP cache. So this is a basic. We can say that the points of where we are just going to discuss, that is the based upon the ARP. So here this is a diagram where we are having one host and that is communicate. They want to be communicated with host B, and where the IP address is that is belong from the IP address is first PC, that is 10.1.0 and /24. That means in this case we are using classless IP address, and we have the format for that. So first, tell me why we need the MAC address of the destination in the local network. So we need MAC address for the authentication part, because we cannot change our system's MAC address. We cannot change. I already discussed this point. We are having two different types of address. Two different types of address. One is physical and logical address. We are having two different types of address. One is physical address and logical address. Physical address means your system's MAC address, and the logical address your systems is IP address. So we can change our system's IP address, but we cannot change our system's MAC address. We can prove with the help of different cyber security or cyber softwares, but we cannot change our system's MAC address permanently. We can change temporary MAC address with the help of different softwares, but we cannot change system's MAC address because it is your physical address and permanent address. So in this diagram, if host A wants to send the traffic to host B, can you please tell me what is the source IP address and what is the destination IP address? So because we need some address, or we need some kind of any destination address, whether it is IP address, whether it is URL. So we need one destination address. Whenever we send one message to the destination, we always know about our destination's IP address, whether it is URL. So we assign one IP address to the host as well. Why? Because whenever you are sending data to the destination, your source address is also travel with the packets. So in this case, IP host A, they are having the IP address as well, and if they want to send the packet to the destination, so see in the diagram there is a destination MAC address is unknown and source MAC address is given. Means whenever we send the packet to the destination, our two address attached with your packet. One is MAC address, another one is IP address. So whenever we are talking about the packet, and that means source MAC also transfer and destination MAC, they both are required. Source MAC address as well as for destination MAC address. And same for source IP address and destination IP address. We required all these components when we are sending packet to the destination. So unknown means So suppose let's take the local area example. Suppose A host A wants to communicate with host B, but you don't have the MAC address of host B. You just send the ping to the host B. You just send the ping to the host B. That means you are just sending the packet with your source MAC address and your destination MAC address. Sorry, but you don't have the MAC destination MAC address. You are just sending the ping command to the with the help of IP address. Okay, here in the diagram, that tells the we don't have the destination MAC address. That means how host A will get know the MAC address of host B. So broadcast the packet to all the network. First, it will broadcast the packet to all the network. Then destination will get a reply back to you with the appropriate packet. How it will happen? Suppose when we are sending packet to the broadcast, when we are sending broadcast packet, on that time your destination MAC address is all Fs. Means your destination MAC address is written in the all Fs as a destination MAC address. So this type of destination MAC address, that means you don't have your destination MAC address. That means you are just broadcasting the packet. You are just broadcasting the packet. Just for broadcasting. So in a single network, if we are talking about a single network, your packet that travel to all the PCs. But who will open the packet? Only it will first any PC. There is some if they receive one packet from anywhere, first it will check the source IP address and destination IP address and destination MAC address. Then one PC they receive the MAC address with all F, means all F, that means they act as a broadcast packet. If you are talking about the frame, so that means broadcast frame. Then after that, after checking the MAC address, it will check the IP address. If IP address is different, then it will discard the packet. If the IP address, when IP address is matched with your destination, then your packet will be received. Otherwise, nobody can receive your packet. They just discard. They just check first IP address and MAC address of the destination. If they both are the matching with you, then it will open the packet. Otherwise, it will discard the packet. So next we have the ARP format. ARP format. So first we in this case Ethernet packet, we are talking about the ARP frame format. So first that is hardware type. First that is hardware type. So what does it mean? Hardware type means your Ethernet. That means we are talking about the Ethernet part. So that is the example of hardware type. And second, that is protocol type. Second, that is protocol type. Protocol type means your, and that time we are talking about the layer 3. That means your IP address, whether your IP address is belong from IPv4 and IPv6. Next, that is hardware length. So hardware length, that tells the length of the Ethernet. It is similar with the hardware type. Hardware length is the same, means length of the Ethernet. So now next that is the hardware length. Hardware length is same, means that the length of the Ethernet. So next we have that is the protocol length. Protocol length. So protocol length is a length of your IP address. Okay. So next one is operation code. So operation code, what does it mean? Is a Ethernet ARP request and reply. Operation code. Which type of operation at that time is working? Whether it is sending the request to the destination, or whether they are receiving a reply back from your destination. Because whenever we are talking about two-way communication, so suppose host A, host B, they want to communicate with each other. So firstly, it will send request to the destination. That means on that time our operational code is working as a echo request. That is echo request. After that, it will receive packet from the destination. That means echo reply on that time. So this is our echo request and echo reply. Okay, so it will work with the help of operation code. Next, that is your source IP address and source MAC address. So whenever I already explained this part, whenever you are sending packet to the destination, your IP address as well as your MAC address, it will travel with your packet. Same as it is for destination. Destination IP address and destination MAC address. Source IP, source MAC, destination IP, destination MAC. They all are required. If we don't have the MAC address of the destination, it will broadcast the packet. Broadcast, that means by default on that time your MAC address is all F on that time. That is your broadcast packet. After that we have ARP process. So now suppose you are on same LAN and host A, B and C. We have the three hosts and they are directly connected with a switch. If they want to communicate with, they first send echo request and they will get echo reply from your destination if they want to be communicated with you. So suppose all the PCs, they are directly connected with the switch, they all are on a same network. They belong from a same network because the IP address of host A, B and C, they all are with the same address. Address that is 10.0.0.1, 2 and 3. They all are belong from a same network. Same network, they are directly connected with a single switch. So next we have ARP cache lookup. It is ARP cache lookup. Suppose, in this case, suppose host A wants to send a packet to host B. And so first it will check the MAC table. First, it will check the MAC table whether host A has a MAC address of host C or not. And initially it would be blank, means no entry. Initially, when we are directly connected with a single switch, on that time your ARP cache is there empty. They don't have any MAC address of the destination. On that time, they will first transfer the packet with the broadcast address, because MAC ARP cache lookup, it will check the MAC address of the destination. if they first share some packet with each other, then it will have the MAC address entry in their ARP cache table. Otherwise, it will show as a blank as shown in the PPT. So next we have the ARP request process. So if it is blank, means you don't have the MAC address, then host A suppose will send the ARP request to all the PCs. Suppose in this case, same as it is in this case, host A wants to communicate with host C, but host A don't have any MAC address entry in their MAC table. So what it will do? So it will broadcast the packet to all the network. Then broadcast address is same. That is all F. So all F is your broadcast address. That means it will go all the PCs. Then only host C would reply, because destination IP address is, as shown in the image, destination IP address is 10.0.3. That is why host C only reply back to the host A. But host B also receive the same packet, but it will discard the packet. Why it will discard the packet? Because MAC address is broadcast, it will receive packet, but it will not open the packet. Why they are not opening the packet? Because the destination MAC IP address is different. Because host B is having an IP address with 2, but packet's destination IP address is 3. So that is why host B, it will discard the packet. So this is a ARP request process. So next we have the ARP reply process. So reply process means if they receive a packet, if they open the packet, if the destination IP address matched, then they will get a reply back to the destination. Yeah, I received the packet as an acknowledgement, because that is why we are saying that we are using TCP. So TCP is a connection oriented protocol. Whenever we are sending packet to the destination, we will get reply back from the destination. Whether the reply from the destination is positive acknowledgement or negative acknowledgement, means positive ACK and NACK. ACK, that means you are getting acknowledgement from the destination as a right way. That means destination is ready to communicate with you. If you are receiving negative acknowledgement, that means there is something is happening over there. Suppose they don't want to communicate with you. So anything else. So this is all about the ARP reply process. Means when they receive the packet, with same, first it will check destination IP address and destination MAC address. Then they will open the packet. Then they are sending same source IP and MAC address. They are sending reply back to the host A. I will receive the packet, or I received the packet. So next we have now our next, that is ARP cache. So this is a reply process. We already discussed with this reply, how we will get reply back from the destination. So next, that is ARP cache. So ARP cache. So next time host A send data to the host C. It do not need this ARP request. Do not need any ARP request. Do not need any ARP request again and again. So if anyone host A wants to send data, it will first concern with the ARP table. So if MAC address is available, no need to send any ARP request to the destination. as shown in the given picture or a given image, you just see they are not sending to the ARP request to the host C. Because why they are not sending? Because in ARP table, the MAC entry is there. So if the MAC entry is there, there's no need to any send ARP request. No need. So next we have proxy ARP. So next is proxy ARP. So it is similar with ARP. It is similar with ARP, but only difference in ARP occurs in LAN environment, where you can you send a ARP request in broadcast. This travel in local area network. So ARP proxy is different with the help of proxies. That means we are talking about the gateway. As shown in the given picture, we must assign one gateway address to the routers. So there are two, in this case, there are two hosts in the different LAN. Host A and host B. They belongs from a different network. How we would know they are from different network? Because you just check the IP address of host A. IP address of host A is 10.1.0.1/8. So this is a host A IP address. And what about the host B? IP address is 1.2.0.1/8. So this is host B IP address. So see, they belongs from a different network. So that is why we need one proxy server, or we can say that one gateway address for communication. So when host A generate broadcast request, router immediately discard the request and don't forward any broadcast request to the any host. So this is a default behavior of the router, because router has only one port. In diagram, host A send a request to router, but it will not discard. They send a request to proxy and to host B. So then host B send a MAC address to the router, but router cannot send host B MAC address. It will send our own MAC address as shown in the picture. So first it will send the ARP request as shown on image. First it will send the ARP request, that is ARP request to 10.2.0.1. That is your destination MAC address. But ARP request to 10.2.0.1. Then reply back from the destination. ARP reply with MAC of host B. But proxy server, they are sending their own address. That is ARP reply with MAC of gigabit 0/0/. That is the address of particular port number. This is the port number for proxy reply with own address on the behalf of host B. So next we have gratitude ARP. So gratitude ARP, again it is similar with the ARP. Again it is similar with the ARP, but it will generate ARP request by its own IP address. By its own IP address. And gratitudes that work in the LAN environment also. The main use of gratitude ARP is to check the uniqueness of IP address. What is the need of checking the uniqueness IP address? That means suppose we are having a single LAN network, LAN environment, and we are connecting suppose 20 PC on a single network, or we are going to assign IP address by static. because we are having two different types of assigning the IP address. One is static and with the help of DHCP. We are not using DHCP right now. We are just talking about the static. That means we are assigning IP address as a static to the PC. So it's a human behavior. It may take maybe same IP. It may assign same IP to the any system. So on that time, our gratitude ARP will active. It will check the uniqueness of the IP address. That is the main function of gratitude ARP. So if anyone reply with different MAC address and say I am having the this IP address, means that is a duplicate IP address. Okay, so next is, as shown in this picture, host A sending a ARP request to all the network, and it will check the destination MAC address and source MAC address. And here is a ARP form field. So as seen in the image, the IP address of destination is here and source IP is here. Destination MAC address is broadcast. Why they are sending broadcast message? Because they want to check the uniqueness of the IP address, uniqueness of the network. That is why they are sending broadcast packet to all the LAN network, LAN environment. Because in this case, we are talking about the LAN environment. So the basic use of gratitude ARP is to check the duplicate IP address may be assigned in a single IP network, or ARP that can be used to discover your IP address conflicts. So this is all about the gratitude ARP. Before moving further, I am just going to launch another pool question. So next we have the after gratitude ARP, we have the question area part for this particular topic. The first question, that is, prior to generate an ARP request, what action must be taken an end station? So prior to generating an ARP request, what action must be taken by an end station? So it will check ARP cache table first. If MAC entry is there, then it will not generate the ARP request, because we already learned about that. If the prior ARP cache table in a entry is existing, MAC entry is existing in the ARP table, then it will not generate the ARP request. Second question, that is, when are gratitude ARP message generated and propagated on the local network? So what is the use of gratitude ARP? That is to discover IP address conflicts, to check you have a unique address. So that is the basic working of the gratitude ARP. So this is all about the ARP. Now I am going to start our next topic, that is the transport layer. So our next topic, that is transport layer. So that means we are talking about the two different main protocols. That is TCP/IP and UDP. Because we are talking about the transport layer, that means we are talking about the transportation, how our packet will travel to the network. Because we are having two different protocols here. One is TCP/IP and UDP. So first, before the start of this topic, I am just going to explain the difference between TCP and UDP. So TCP is a connection oriented. And it is a connection less. UDP is a connection less. TCP if we are talking about the TCP and UDP, TCP is the connection oriented. That means there is acknowledgement. There is no acknowledgement in the case of UDP. It will work by packet transfer, block of packets. Packet by packet in the case of TCP and block of packet in the case of UDP. Okay, so next that is which one is a faster, because it is packet by packet, it is slower than UDP. It is faster. UDP is a faster. Because when we required a data transformation fast, like if we are taking the example of UDP, so right now we are using Zoom application for video as well as for voice communication. So in that time our UDP is working. UDP, because we need fast communication for voice as well as for video conferencing. Another example of UDP is, one is this one is online conferencing. Second one is online gaming. So online gaming is another example of UDP. Okay. So when we are talking about the TCP, that means we are talking about the email process. We are sending mail by mail and we are getting a reply back from the destination. Yes, your packet is transferred, your packet is transferred. That means packet by packet communication in the case of TCP. But on the other hand, in the case of UDP, we have fast communication. We need fast communication or we need block of packet. That's why UDP work with the block of packets. Our topic, that is transport led, that means we have to transfer the packets. How we will transfer the packet, whether we are using TCP or whether we are using UDP. So TCP is I already told you, TCP is a connection oriented protocol. TCP is a connection oriented protocol. That means we are talking about the end-to-end communication. That means your destination is directly connected with you. Basically, it's an end-to-end protocol that exists as a part of the transport layer of the TCP/IP protocol. So in order to support applications that span over the multi-network environment. So that means your destination is directly connected with you. That is why we are saying it is a connection oriented protocol. TCP is a connection oriented protocol. So next we have the port numbers. Port numbers. So in this case, we assign different ports for different protocols. Suppose if we are talking about the FTP. So for FTP, the port number is 20 and 21. And if we are talking about the HTTP, that means we are talking about the port number 80. If we are talking about the Telnet, so we have the port number for that 23. If we are talking about the SMTP, that is 25. Whenever we are sending packet to the destination, on that time our destination's port number is also in the header. So as I mean for allowing for many processes within a single host to use TCP communication facility simultaneously. So that TCP provides a set of ports within the each host. So on that time we need some protocol as well, plus different port numbers. So common example of TCP that is based upon the application which well-known port number that have been assigned to the assigned includes like FTP, HTTP, Telnet or SMTP. So next we have the TCP header. Because we already discussed with these all parts, TCP header. We already discussed this header in a previous lecture. So next we have the TCP connection establishment. If we are talking about the establishment, or we can say that the connection between the destination. So first it will send the request to the destination. So before proceeding further, so I am just going to explain again this header, TCP header. I'm just going to explain again this TCP header. So in TCP header, we have a first that is the sequence source port number. So source port number, that means when we are transfer the packet, our source port number is travel with the packet, and same as it is for destination port number. And after that we have the sequence number. So sequence number, that means sending how much segments you are sending. So that is the sequence number. Sequence number plus acknowledgement number, they both are working simultaneously. So that means sequence number and acknowledgement number, they are working together. And after that, so acknowledgement number, that means we are talking about the that is for maintaining the connection, for reliable connection. So suppose you are sending 1000 as a sequence number. Suppose you are sending 1000 as a sequence number, and then acknowledgement number is 1001. It will add one. It will add one as in the sequence. So that means receiver tells I have received this packet number. So that is why they will send one as a add one in the acknowledgement set. Okay. So next, that is the window field. So left sides all the fields we will learn after all of the field, after covering all of the field. So next we have the window field. So window field that tells the for flow control. And suppose we send packet 1000 bytes data in their packet segments, and we will send the, suppose I'm just taking example. So we have so suppose we have this we have these segments, 3 segments, and 3 segments they are sending to the Suppose it's a host A and host B, sending 3 packet to the host A, and after that host B, it will send sequence number plus 1, that is for acknowledgement number. It is a sequence plus 1, and it will send total 3001. So this is the segment address for this. So next we have, that is the checksum part. So checksum part, checksum, why we are using checksum? That is specifically for the maintain the integrity of the packet. Okay. So next we have the urgent pointer. So if you want to send data urgently, on that you just assign the priority of data. Priority of data with urgent bit set. If you want to send urgently, suppose we are having different ways to travel the packet. If we want to, if suppose we think this is an urgent packet to transfer to the destination, we just add one urgent bit with that packet, and it will transfer first, then rest of the packets. Next, that is the option part. Option part, that means the an additional feature you want to be add. After that, the padding field, that tells the number of zeros, number of 0 and 1s. So it will fill the gap. Basically, it will fill the gap between the data. If there is a free space, then it will add 0 and 1. Okay. Now moving further to the header length. Moving further to this header length. Header length, that is the bits in 1 bit. So we have in this case, one is fin bit, FIN bit. So we have first, that is fin bit, FIN bit. Fin bit. What is the meaning of fin bit? That is where we, when we tear down the connection, or break the connection, on that time we need fin bit. Next, that is SYN bit, or we can say that ACK. They work together for making the connection oriented, for making the connection, SYN and ACK. Another we have, that is the P bit, that is specifically for the pushing the data urgently. Next, we have the R bit, that is for reset the connection. That is specifically for reset the connection. Next, we have last bit, that is for the congestion bit. Congestion bit, that tells the explicit connection, congestion notification, and congestion windows, window reduce. So last we have the NS, that is for the specifically for, it is nonsense bit. And the reserve bit, that this field is always 0, reserve field. So this is all about the TCP header field. And next we have, that is TCP connection establishment. TCP connection establishment. So first it will send the SYN message to the host B. Basically, it's a 3-way handshake process. Connection request, then send to the destination, then destination with add one acknowledgement with the sync part. We already discussed. First, it will send SYN, then it will add SYN plus ACK, 1 at the end of the address. Then after that, if they again want to communicate with the destination, again they send the SYN packet. Again it will send SYN plus ACK1. So this is all about the TCP connection establishment. So next we have the transmission process. So how the transmission process occur? So in this PPT, it create a window. So blue line shows the one frame is lost in the given PPT. Blue line that tells the one frame is lost. Then they can't send the acknowledgement. It will send acknowledgement with our previous acknowledgement. For whole window, they cannot send. They can only send. They can only send the previous acknowledgement. Suppose we have host A here, host B here. It will send 3 packet. So suppose sequence number is 1000, 1000, 1000, 1000, and it will send reply back with acknowledgement number plus sync 1, that is 3001. Again, it will send 3 packet. So this is host A, suppose this is host B, and 1 packet is lost. Then after that, they will not send positive acknowledgement for this and this. It will send 1 acknowledgement for reference ID this. Why this? Because it will shows I have not received 1 packet, because you are sending 3 packets at a time. I have not received 1 packet. So that is why again host A will send 3 packet to the host B. If the packet is completely received by the host B, then it will send positive reply back to the destination. Otherwise, it will show only the previous address, previous value, previous acknowledgement, or we can say that. Okay, so next we have the TCP flow control. So we already discussed about that TCP flow control. Yes, this is a flow control. This is a flow control when we are sending packet to the destination as well. So next we have TCP connection termination. So again, first it will send the FIN packet, then acknowledgement, then again FIN packet, then again acknowledgement. If they want to be close the packet. Suppose first it will send FIN, then it will send ACK, again it will send FIN, and it will send ACK. That means they want to terminate the connection. So this is the process to terminate the connection. So next we have UDP. We already discussed about the UDP part, because only work with request and reply protocol. So UDP based data is sent without any establishment of connection. We already discussed about the complete definition or difference between UDP and TCP. So we have next, that is UDP datagram format. So in the case of UDP data format, we have only 4 fields. Only 4 fields. 4 fields, that is source port number, destination port number, and length of the packet, and checksum. So this is all 4 field under UDP datagram protocol. So next we have the UDP forwarding behavior. So it will forward the data flow over the routers. So the possibility of datagram duplication or duplication is there in the case of UDP. So next we have the behavior of a UDP. We already discussed about that. What is the best example for UDP? So best example for UDP when we are talking about the voice and videos. So next we have some questions for this topic. So what is the process of acknowledgement field in the TCP header? So in the case of TCP header, we have the reliable data has been reached or not, reliability. Second question, that is which TCP code bits are involved in the TCP three-way handshake? So that is your 2 fields, that is send and acknowledgement part that create the three-way handshake process. So this is all about the transport layer. Okay, so this is all about the transport layer as well and the ARP. So thank you, students. Then okay, students, thank you.